doing the rad thing. And my name is Mike, aka Monster. Uh, I am here on this Saturday night with my good friend and co-host Peter Lumberg. Take it away, Pete.
Hey, Mike, great to see you. Looking forward to the show all week. We have a great guest lined up. Very excited. I don't know if the shirt tells it all, but very excited for our guest. And, before we jump into the guests, I want to thank our sponsors like we do each week. Just something that we're appreciative of. Helps us build content for the show. 2.4 Designs, RC Car Action, Carry All RC, Trail Hobbies, RC Pro Rack, Crazy Crawler Foams, Power Hobby, Cow RC, Lifted Custom RC, Adventure RC, Crawler Cult RC, K&K Hardware, Scale Rat, Westmade, RC Misfit, Race Place, FMS, and more sponsors to come. So how you doing, Mike? I'm glad we're back Saturday night.
Yeah, Pete, thank you. It is good to be back. Big shout out to our RC nerds and friends out in Ohio, out at K&K.
Yeah.
Hoping everyone is enjoying the weather and having a good time comping on the farm out at K&K.
Yeah, that's going on this weekend, and good comp event. A lot of guys down there, and for the viewers just coming in, make sure you keep the chat going. We're monitoring the chat. If you have any questions for our special guest, we'll stop, and also we're going to do the word, the final word.
Yes, good point, Pete. Tonight we're going to end a few minutes early. Family first, always. And tonight, locally, we are having a firework display. So I'm bolting out of here at 8:45 sharp, jumping in the car with the wife to go meet the kids and check out the fireworks. So we are going to keep on target tonight. We're going to stay on track. Anything we miss, we'll come back to next week. But yes, Pete, good point. Let's talk about something I have here. We want to thank Power Hobby. The good people over at Power Hobby donated a prize. This is a the video is not coming through clear. We'll post a picture of it if you want to see it. It is what's important here. This is a 900. I just dropped it. Pete, you're familiar with this battery. Why this is such a cool prize for someone to win a 900 milliamp micro battery. You want some runtime in that micro? You got an answer for it right here with a very nice 900 milliamp, very solid battery from Power Hobby. Thank you to you guys. So how you win this, we're going to put up a simple rule in the comments. The first one to guess correctly, and you only get one guess, so don't be a smart aleck and just throw out random ones. The first correct guess will win this. We'll get your address, we'll get all the info that we need, and make sure we get a 900 milliamp micro battery sent out to you. And the way you win, you tell us what the 4-letter word is. We gave you the first 3 letters, and this week's letter of the week would be D. D as in dog. So now, if you paid attention and followed along the last couple of weeks, you have the 4-letter word. Tonight's letter is D. And thank you again to Power Hobby. Pete, let's jump right into this. What do you think, bud? We'll wrap up with any workbench projects, and I'd love to see if you got any new scale mail this week. We'll wrap that up at the end, but I think it's important we get to the man of the hour. It's no secret. We've been posting. We've been talking about him. If you've been living under a rock for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you wouldn't know this. But if you're in the RC industry, if you're an RC nerd like us, you know the words USTE. Nice shirt, Pete, by the way. Nice shirt. Ultimate Scale Truck Expo. We're going to meet one of the brains and creators behind it. His name is Rob Mathews, and we're going to bring him on here tonight. And it was important for us to give him a platform and let him share a story about what's going on in the off season. It's no secret USTE is a full-time gig. It's there's so much work that's going into that thing all year long. I think some of us have blinders on. We see the posts that are popping up early fall, all the hype about getting your ticket and pre-order and pre-order your and register. But there's a lot of work going on throughout the summer, and you know, I think it would be good to get some hype and let him talk about what's going on and what's maybe new for this year. What could someone be expecting this year at USTE? What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, let's bring him in. I'm excited. Mr. Rob Mathews coming in. And there he is.
He is.
Hey.
Cool. And Rob, look at him decked out in the hat
Yep.
and the shirt.
Yep. Hat's 2 years old. Shirt is also 2 years old.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Almost vintage by my standards.
Vintage. I like it. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining. And, Mike and I, favorite event. We're so happy to have you on here and, talk about, like you were saying, it's a full year production. And, a lot of people show up and they're amazed, but the stuff that goes on prior, I know leading up, you and I talk a little and you're like, they got this going on and that going on. And just tell her what it's all about, the off-season, like when's it start prepping, when you start scouting trails, cleaning them up. And, I'm interested.
It is absolutely a full-time job. You guys follow Exo Caged RC on YouTube, Joe Collins.
Yep.
He's somewhat local to me. He's in Jacksonville, so a couple hours away, maybe a little less. For probably the first 4 years, he kept asking me, is it a full-time job yet? Is it a full-time job yet? And no, it's, just part-time. We just, do the best we can. Well, I can tell you 100% certainty this year is a full-time job. It's 12 months out of the year to put this thing on. So kudos to him. I guess he knew it was coming. I'll just start, the gist of everything we do is based upon a mission statement that Corey and I worked through at the very beginning, which would have been, 7 years or 8 years ago now. We don't do it if it doesn't gel with the mission of USTE. To the best of my knowledge, we're the only event in the RC world that has a mission statement. We actually have a guiding principle. So for those of you that don't know, and I know you both heard this before, the Ultimate Scale Truck Expo's mission is to connect manufacturers, artisans, and enthusiasts by using meaningful person-to-person interaction for the betterment of scale modelers, the hobby, and all who experience it. That's our goal, right? That is our mission. And I would say quite humbly that we've managed to pull that off 6 or 7 years in now. We have done very well. It's, what are we doing now? So, as soon as the event ends, last year, Joy took off, like she wanted 6 weeks off. I maybe gave her 3. I'm on the computer and I'm sending her messages. Hey, what about this for next year? What do you think about this idea? What do you think about, who knows what? And so currently, I did preface this. I had Joy write some notes for me because we do this together and I'm totally off the cuff and she likes me to kind of go through things. So look, we're always working. We are always thinking about how to make the event better. We are asking people like you guys or people that run other big events, how do we make it better? Where did we screw up this year? How can we streamline things? While this is now a full-time job, this isn't how I make my 9-to-5 income, right? It's an event we host for one weekend, once a year, but it takes all year to get there. So I am not a professional event organizer by any stretch, nor do I claim to be. So I am always looking for how to be better, right? How to make my guests, my vendors, my sponsors, how can we best serve those people and stay with our mission statement? That's my goal. And that's the goal of everybody on my team. And if that's not their goal, they don't stay on my team long. So another side is how do we promote the event so that we get the right people to the event? And you guys both know we're about dollhouse trucks. And if you're watching this video and you don't know what a dollhouse truck is, we're probably not the right event for you. And that's not meant to be insulting by any stretch. It's just we are very specific about who in the type of vehicles that we want at the show. With that being said, we're open to anybody. You know, if you go to your hobby shop and you buy a brand new Axial or a brand new FMS, whatever, and that's the scaleless thing ever to you, that's great. We'd love to have you. But our trails are they're not hard to traverse. They are dollhouse trails. So there's some education in there that could be done amongst the Facebook groups and online forums and things of that nature to help promote the modeling side of the hobby.
Yeah.
I think that's that pretty
I almost
much,
want to jump in there for 1 second and almost throw you a life preserver here and
dude,
make sure people understand that you're not a jerk. It might
No,
come off kind of abrasive and saying, you know, you are welcome to everyone, but you're trying to
Yep.
get people to get the most out of this. And
that's correct.
I think scale. I heard people rattling this word off, scale, and I'm like, what are they talking about? And when you go to USTE, it hits you like, oh, now I get it. Oh, now I get it. So it is important. Rob, you welcome everyone. You want everyone to come there and have a great time. If you do come off kind of abrasive and like, I don't want you here. No, we want you here, but we want you here with the appropriate truck to get the most out of it. Because there's not
And
many
if
trails
somebody
there, Rob.
if somebody
you're-
comes if
Go ahead.
somebody comes with a truck, if somebody
Yep.
comes with a truck that's not the right truck, they don't generally know until they see the gallery. When
Yes.
they see the gallery and then they look at a real scale truck, right? Scale is all in your mind. That is such a misnomer thing. People that buy a brand new RTR and they go, oh, it's a scale truck. Well, compared to what? Compared to my dollhouse truck that I have 2,000 hours in, scale means different things to different people. And I actually did, if you go on the website, I wrote an article, what is scale? So just for what it's worth, I'll plug my own horn. And I go through like, this is what some people think, scale. Well, scale is a Lexan body truck that they just pulled out of a box. Well, the next guy says, well, scale is that same truck that they just pulled out of a box that they took a couple of 3D printed parts and glued them on the body. And then the next guy says, well, scale is that same Lexan truck with the same 3D printed parts, but they have a dashboard in it. And then the next guy takes all the, you see where this goes? This is
all the way to the working windshield wipers.
Correct. You have to start somewhere. So while we're open to everybody, just know that when you come and you see these dollhouse trucks, that you can build that too. Right. And which is why we have the classes and we have the teaching and training at our event. And I don't know of any other event that does that. Matter of fact, there is no other event that does that in the world that I'm aware of. So again, this goes back to our mission statement. This is what we want to do. We want to create better modelers. We want to connect manufacturers with the people that use their products to make better hobbyists, better modeling. That's the goal.
Rob, I think it's important to reiterate about the training or classes. You are probably the only event that's doing those classes. And it's one of the biggest highlights that that doesn't get enough focus. When you can get someone in the industry with some serious knowledge and experience to teach you maybe how to solder, paint, or talk about a product. We had Desmond Mooney one year talk about tire traction. There's been so many great instructors, and you're foolish if you can't learn something new every day. I know, Rob, you do the soldering class, and I think it's great for everyone to really take advantage of that aspect of what USTE offers.
Yeah, it's nonstop. And I constantly, we have the same basic classes that are the same 4 to 6 classes every year. Yep. Because every year we have the new people, and the new people don't know how to look at like a scale wrap body that's weathered to the nth degree that looks totally amazing. And I was that new guy at one point, and I'm like, well, I can never do that. My skill set, I can never do that. Well, that's just not accurate. You can do that. Anybody can do that. And it helps to have a guy right in front of you, talking to you, showing you face to face, one-on-one, how to do that. That doesn't happen anywhere else. That only happens at UST. And the same thing goes for soldering basics, soldering 101, how to run a basic LED light set from nothing. Right now, some of the trucks are coming out and they have LED lights. FMS models comes to mind. Headlights, taillights, turn signals, the flashers, you know, and it's all, you buy the truck and it's all done. Yeah. So when I started, well, a very long time ago, you bought a kit, and then you bought a soldering iron for your batteries, right? I mean, like, this is how it goes. Well, now nobody knows how to solder. And so it's really funny if you go talk to Jonathan Baskins or Helios RC or, you know, anybody that does electronics, they constantly have a stream of people going up to them saying, oh, I bought this battery, it has a Dean's plug, and I need to have this, whatever, JX60 or, you know what I mean? It's constant. And they don't even own a soldering iron. And this is the society we live in now. So wouldn't it be nice to go, hey, at 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday, we can go over there and talk to this guy. He'll show us how to do all this stuff. And oh, by the way, he'll probably sell us a soldering iron. Genius. Nothing we do is hard or complicated, but people's minds sometimes make them think it's hard and complicated. And they're just kind of like driving a car, right? Everybody started driving. Nobody knew what they were doing. You're jumping curbs and cutting over grass corners. Well, eventually you get it pretty well dialed. And the same thing can happen with weathering and styrene work and, you know, electronics and soldering and, you know, whatever it may be.
Well, and I think, you know, one of the things I like, you know, to touch on is, you know, the gallery, right? You know, we talked about the classes. The classes are fantastic. I mean, I haven't seen an event, Mike, where you can go to where you get everything in one weekend. You got your classes, you got your vendors, you got your gallery, and you got some of the best. I mean, honestly, I mean, some of the pictures I take, some of the best, like dollhouse that I've seen on the trails. But, you know, when you, back to your point about the gallery, you know, scale is what, you know, the vision is, right? Like I'm looking at trucks now that I think are scale that I put hours into, and then I go to the gallery and I'm like, wow, I'm like blown away, times 10 of what I did, you know. And but every time I go to USTE, I take something back with me, something that I'll
That's
do
fantastic.
on the
Best compliment we could get right there. Best compliment we could get. Yep.
I think what the gallery did for me was I got starstruck in the gallery. I would recognize not the person that built it, but I'd recognize the truck. I've seen that in RC Car Action. I've seen that thing all over YouTube or Facebook, and to actually walk by and spot it and be like, I've seen that one. And then you get to meet the person that built it, which is pretty cool. But you actually get that little goosebump. You get starstruck. Like, I've seen that all over Facebook. And it's very cool to see them in person, and they are next level. You use the word dollhouse a lot, but it is so free.